Good afternoon and welcome to day 2 of the Education USA Virtual Week and Roadshow. This week, today is the participation of the STEM theme, and we are Team Education USA Thailand. My name is Deb Mack. My partner here is Sirapat Chiopat, and we are here to present on STEM education in the United States. This is a live Zoom webinar and is being broadcast on various Education USA Center Facebook feeds across the East Asian Pacific region. If you have questions, please feel free to enter your questions directly into the chat function. If you are signed in via Zoom, or if you are watching this via Facebook feeds, you can enter your questions and one of our Education USA staff members will transfer the questions to the Zoom chat. I would like to quickly introduce Education USA Thailand. We have 4 locations. We are 3 locations situated at the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok, the Office of Civil Service Commission, and the American University Alumni, AUA. I'm now going to turn this over to Kuntang or Sirapat to present our presentation on STEM in the United States.
Thank you, Deb. So my name is Sirapat. You can call me Nang or Siri. I'm based here at the U.S. Embassy Bangkok Education USA Center. So today, like Deb mentioned, we're going to talk about STEM major. So some of you might have heard of the term STEM before, but let me tell you again, like what does the acronym of STEM mean? So STEM stands for science, technologies, engineering, and mathematics. Why study in STEM? Like we put together like the graph of the percentage increase in STEM jobs. STEM graduates tend to be like in higher demand over the past 10 years. STEM jobs grew 3 times faster than the non-STEM jobs. And the STEM career has like major impact on society in general, because today's world is focusing more on digital and technology driven, and the return on investment, because there's low unemployment rate and there's a potential for higher salary positions for those who graduate in STEM. Most of the company found like the high satisfaction from the STEM graduate major students. Yeah, so as you can see that like many STEM fields are consistently ranked as like the most job satisfaction from the staff here on the presentation. And for the 21st century skills according to the World Economic Forum, you can see that STEM is one of the required skill from the list here. And with the growth and commitment, many US schools focusing more like in STEM majors, and you will get the benefit of their OPT or optional practical training extension for 24 months. So it's like you will get to like do an internship and stay longer after you graduate in the US. And we have put together tips for STEM applicants. For those of you who would like to study in engineering programs, you can first start by like building stuff. It can be really basic. You can find out more information on the website, like from Make, Adafruit, Instructables. You can share your work, your project, your science project or STEM project through like Instructables. You can create your own website to share your project, or start by solving local problem like within your community. You can do work like small project to help your own village or your own society, or even you can start from the school. We also have tips for computer science students. You can start coding from like project ruler. You can make program to solve problem like around you. It could be anything. um, you can find the ongoing issue right now in your area and start helping solve the solution. For example, the recycle of bottle plastics. You can go beyond solving people's IT problems, engage more with the CS community, um, and try like online courses from like edX, Coursera, or OpenCourseWare. There are many STEM related fields that you can take online for free without getting the certificate. You can start learning from there. Um, for the STEM careers, we will just cover this topic a little bit because there will be more session in the career part. We just want to show you when we're talking about STEM, we will think about like doctor, nurse, dentist, engineer, computer science, let me move this, architect, chemist, or software developer. But STEM major like could be more than that. Like, have you ever heard of environmental engineer, entomologist, actuary, petroleum engineer, financial analyst, or data scientist? But you can also study art and science together. Um, like STEM occupation could be like music combined with biology, and you could do like bioacoustician job. Um, you could combine like sport with mathematics to be a sport statistician, or a career in art and computer science to be a 3D printing material manager. You can do a lot with STEM major. You can see that you might heard of this like for the first time, but it could be more than what we just giving you example on here. And for the job landscape, by 2025, the World Economic Forum again released like the statistic that growing job demand in the market would be more in STEM, and that will be less of the like administrative or executive secretaries. So you can see that learning STEM will be more beneficial for you. Um, and we would like to cover a little bit like giving you example of like salary from STEM major graduate. You can see that they tend to earn more than other occupations. This is just to give you some idea. Yeah, so you can see that the number one highest salary would be statisticians. Like you wouldn't expected that they would earn like 84,000 per year, and like mathematicians they could earn like 100,000 per year. That seems a lot. So maybe you should like look more into the STEM major and like consider this kind of occupation in your future. And we would like to cover a little bit on like Thailand 4.0 economic model. This is our current investment policy. We wanted to talk about this because like Thailand really focusing on like STEM education. We want to grow more technologies, research development to add the value in the business. So you can see that this is the graphic, infographic from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Thailand that they put together, that we used to be only like the farming focused country, but we would like to transform into smart farming. So that would involve a lot of STEM education to improve people's skill. We want to change from traditional SME to more like tech involved startup. We want to build like an unskilled labor to become more like knowledgeable worker and high skilled laborers. And these all start from the basic like education. So in Thailand, we have like several government schools that would be like STEM focused only. So you can see that this is one of the example from our country. And we would like to share you the list of STEM scholarships on here. So I have combined the list of scholarships that you could go search on the website. There are some of them that only focusing on women's, so women students can apply for the STEM scholarship specifically. And there's a like Vietnam Indonesian student-based scholarship, like the South Pacific Scholarship one. Yeah, and there's some program like specifically on like aerospace, so you can go check that out. Or take a picture of this slide. Other than the scholarships focusing in STEM, you can also do exchange programs from the US government. There are Fulbright program for the current undergraduate students. You can apply for global undergraduate scholarship, or there are short-term exchange program like YSEALI regional exchange for ASEAN, and also the YSEALI academic fellowship for US exchange program. And you can start from there to studying STEM in the US. And you should start from the beginning. You need to complete your application. Since you all know that we have the basic 5 steps, that you need to first do your own research, and you need to complete your application by provide like transcript, submit application form, prepare your personal statement or essays. Some school might require like specific essay questions that you need to answer. So you need to prepare for that. You need to ask for letters of recommendations from teacher or supervisor that know you really well. And you need to prepare your test score. You need to first check by doing the research at the beginning what the school need for you to submit in your application, what are the tests that you need to take. You need a proof of financial responsibilities so that you can submit for scholarship. Some school, they have a scholarship providing specifically for the specific program. So you need to first do your research. And there might be like other documents that you need to submit, for example, portfolio or the website. And these things that you can prepare in at the beginning, that we show you that by taking online classes related to STEM, or start your project or website. For that, the school can review that in advance. I've seen that there are some questions from the chat box. So one question from Siyun, is there scholarship cover for general living expenses? So it really depends on the school and the scholarships. You need to go check their website from the school directly or like the organization that providing the scholarships. Thank you for the question. Anyone else? Okay.
Difference between a transcript and a test score.
So another question. Okay, and there's more from Charlie. Okay, I think this is our last slide, so we are like able to answer all the questions now, and we still have like 15 minutes. So I'll start follow from Michelle. What is the difference between transcript and test score? So transcript coming from the school that you graduate, like you should be able to get a GPA, or if not, if you are in a different system, you should be able to convert it to like a GPA system. And for the test score,
a transcript will show all of the courses that you took and your grades in those courses. Whereas your test scores are actually your scores from the ACT and SAT, and for international students, it will also include your English language, your TOEFLs, or your IELTS.
Yeah.
Do I need to declare my major when I first apply? So our next question is, do I need to declare my major when I'm first applying? You do not for most schools. However, I will say if you are applying for most universities' engineering programs, you will need to actually apply directly to their engineering program. That's not true for every school, but it is true for most engineering schools in the United States. However, many students come into U.S. institutions as undecided majors and choose their major once they get there with different ideas of what they want to do. Some students start as engineering majors and try to change their mind once they're there because they find that they don't actually want to be an engineer. So one of the benefits of a U.S. education is you can actually change your mind when you're there.
Yeah. And do I need to take SAT or ACT for admission to US colleges or universities? Again, you need to do your research and check each school admission requirements. Some of them, they have like other kind of tests that you can submit. So please check first before you take the test, whether or not they need those scores or those tests. So first do your research.
The next question is, you mentioned exchange programs, but is this only for Thai students? No, these are not only for Thai students. These are US government programs. There are Fulbright scholars from all of the Southeast Asian countries. In fact, there are Fulbright scholars from all over the world. And Waisili is specific to Southeast Asia, but that includes all the Southeast Asian countries.
And for STEM interest, should I choose science instructor as a recommendation letter?
I would suggest as the parent of a STEM student in the United States that it is, if you can do that, it is in your interest, but I would also recommend that choose a teacher who you know well and who knows you well. If you have a great relationship with your history teacher and they can give you the best possible recommendation of you as a student, then I would choose your history teacher. But if you, for example, are applying for engineering specifically, because again, you have to go through that school, nursing programs are also the same way. You should actually try, hopefully you have a good relationship with one of your STEM teachers who can actually write that recommendation. Pre-med track. She's asking about pre-med and getting a bachelor's degree in the US. There we go. And continue to study medical school. That's a possibility. I will say, the question is, I want to be on the pre-med track. Can I do a bachelor's degree in the US and then continue to study in a medical school in the US? The answer is yes. You do need to know that those will be separate applications. For the most part, there are schools in the United States that have programs where you move directly from your pre-med undergrad and then move directly into medical school. So there are programs like that, but many students also just finish their bachelor's degree and then do the application to go into medical school.
Would you do another session on arts and humanities? I believe you will have future session on arts and humanities covered by other center. So stay tuned.
What kind of financial proofs can a retiree provide for the student?
So it's like you really have to check each country and also like each school requirement. Like they have a different like standard. You need to do the research again for the school that you are going to apply to. They all have their own like their own standard on the admission requirements
and what they will accept.
Yeah. Anyone else has more questions? Okay, yeah.
Are there any further questions? We did get a reference, someone else is letting us know as panels, if they're referring to financial documents, it may be a bank account or similar for the non-retirees. So you would look for your bank statement to show that you are able to fund the education or support it. Another question, do some universities require the SAT subjects for STEM majors?
Yes. So you need to, again, go check each school requirements. What do they need before you take the test? Okay, another question. I'm a undergraduate studying in Hong Kong, and I intend to study my master's degree in the US in the future. I am interested to know if it would be a good idea to ask professor whom I know at the US Exchange University for a recommendation letter. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you particularly, if you can get a professor at your the institution that you are interested in studying at to give you a recommendation, that is absolutely going to go a long way. I earlier mentioned my daughter is currently at university in the United States, and we were familiar with a professor at that university, and he was willing to write her a letter of recommendation. I know that that's not the only reason she got into that university, but I am certain it helped.
Yeah, definitely ask someone who really know you well, like your professor, your counselor.
Right. One of the things that when you're asking for letters of recommendation, one of the things that is really important, and Gun Tang actually mentioned this when she said somebody who really knows you well. It's important that your letters of recommendation really sell you and make you stand out to an American institution. If they are simply saying, this student is nice, they turn their work in on time, they show up in class, then that's not going to make you stand up. So you really want somebody who's going to make you stand out.
Yeah.
Next question is,
Are you accepting scholarships?
ships.
Are you? Okay.
Are there scholarships available?
Yes, there are many scholarships available. You can check each school website, or like we can go back to the slide that we put together, the list of scholarships here. These are example that we list out that you can go do with more research on those. For the medical school,
Do medical schools in the U.S. accept international applicants that have completed their undergrad in the U.S.? Do you need to be a U.S. citizen to be accepted into medical school in the U.S.? You do not need to be a U.S. citizen to be accepted in medical school in the United States. And they will accept applications for international students who have their undergraduate degree in the United States. Absolutely. In fact, I think it would be to your advantage to have your undergraduate degree in the U.S. as well to get into a U.S. medical school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have just a few more minutes before we have to finish this session. If there's any more questions.
I can check if we miss any questions from here. Good afternoon, everyone from Philippines. Hi from Thailand.
Hi from Thailand to the Philippines.
Anyone else has questions?
Okay.
I think we are good.
I think we're good if we don't have any more questions. This will be the end of our session. The next session will be starting shortly. It will be hosted by Education USA team in Vietnam as the moderator, with Missouri University of Science and Technology as the guest presenter. They will be focusing on STEM career opportunities and student outcomes. In a moment, you will be seeing a hold screen, and the next session will begin shortly.